In the stillness of the morning, when the world is still asleep, I often find myself reflecting on life, on its challenges, its joys, and more importantly, its lessons. There is a wisdom that comes not from books or from the opinions of others, but from within, a wisdom that grows in the quiet moments when we truly listen to ourselves. As a monk, my life has been shaped by the discipline of mindfulness. But even in this simple life, I have learned more about the human experience than I could have ever imagined. Let me share some of these lessons with you, and perhaps you will find a few moments of peace and clarity that resonate with your own journey. One of the first things I learned is this: we are not in control of time. Time, like a river, flows forward whether we are ready or not. It does not stop for us. We cannot hoard it, and we cannot slow it down. It moves through us, whether we're paying attention or lost in distractions. When I first joined the monastery, I was filled with ambition, wanting to achieve something, to make my mark on the world. But then slowly, I came to understand something deeper. True peace does not come from seeking external success or validation. It comes from learning how to be present, how to be fully alive in each moment. The river of time flows, but we can choose how we engage with it. There is a story that often comes to mind when I think about time. Once, a traveler came to a village where a wise elder lived. The traveler was eager to ask for wisdom, and so he approached the elder and said, "Master, what is the most important thing I can do with my life?" The elder, without a word, led the traveler to a small, clear stream and handed him a small cup. "Fill this cup with water," he said. The traveler, confused but obedient, bent down and filled the cup. The elder nodded, then asked, "Now, what is the cup full of?" The traveler replied, "Water." "Exactly," said the elder. "Now look again. What is the cup really full of?" The traveler paused, thinking, and then, in an instant, he understood. "The cup is full of time, isn't it?" The elder smiled. "Yes. Every moment is a drop, and each drop is precious. We cannot control how many drops we are given, but we can choose how to use them. We often spend our time chasing after things that don't bring us peace. We chase success, approval, and possessions. But these things, while they can bring temporary pleasure, cannot fill the emptiness we sometimes feel within. Only mindfulness, only truly being present with the moment, can offer that kind of peace. In our modern world, it's easy to get distracted by the noise. The constant rush of activity, the obligations, the distractions of technology. But when we let go of the need to constantly be somewhere else, to always be doing something, we can finally rest. And in that rest, we reconnect with what is truly important. I'll share with you another lesson that took me years to learn. It's about the nature of suffering. You see, many of us think of suffering as something we must avoid at all costs. But suffering, I've come to realize, is not the enemy. It's part of life. It's through suffering that we grow. Through suffering that we learn the depth of compassion, patience, and understanding. In my early days as a monk, I struggled with the silence, the solitude, and the lack of distractions. I thought I would find peace by escaping from the world. But soon I discovered that peace wasn't in avoiding discomfort. It was in accepting it. There's a story from the Buddha that perfectly illustrates this. Once a young monk came to him, frustrated with his practice. "Master," he said, "I have tried so hard to find peace, but my mind is always racing. I can never silence it." The Buddha, with a gentle smile, responded, "Imagine you are walking through the forest, and you come across a large boulder in your path. At first, you may try to push it out of the way, but after a while, you realize the boulder is too heavy to move. Instead of fighting against it, you simply step around it and continue on your path. Suffering, like the boulder, may not be something you can remove from your life, but you can choose how to respond to it. You can learn to step around it, to make peace with it, and to continue moving forward." This brings me to one final lesson. Life, like the seasons, is in constant change. We must learn to let go of attachments, of expectations, and of our desire to control the outcome of every situation. The more we try to cling to what is temporary, the more we suffer. But when we learn to embrace the impermanence of life, we free ourselves from unnecessary pain. If there is one thing I've learned on this journey, it's that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. When you learn to sit quietly with your own thoughts, When you learn to accept your own imperfections, you unlock the door to true wisdom. May you find peace in each step you take, and may your heart be filled with the wisdom of the present moment.